and England, of course, make up the United Kingdom. But have you ever thought about adding a fifth nation to that organisation? A petition campaigning for devolved powers for Cornwall has received over 20,000 signatures, and the idea has also been backed by Cornwall Council. Now, of course, the many historians and linguistic experts amongst you will know there are several Celtic connections between Kernow and Cymru going back centuries. Lots of words in Cymraeg are very similar to Cornish. So today we ask, should Cornwall become the UK's fifth nation? You can call or WhatsApp 03700 100 110 and text 81012. Loveday Jenkin joins us, Deputy Leader of Mebyon Kernow, as well as Deputy Grand Bard of the Cornish Gorsedd. Hello, Loveday. Good afternoon to you.
Kernow.
Prynawn da, shwriti. How are things?
Yeah, it's lovely weather, sunny.
Beautiful. As it always is whenever I'm in Cornwall. Which part of Cornwall are you, Loveday?
Well, I'm down in the west in Penzance. We've just had a fantastic Eisteddfod and Gorsedd in Marathon this last week. So we're feeling full of the Celtic spirit.
Gorgeous. My mate Brett used to run the pub, the Watering Hole on Perranporth Beach.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. Lovely place. Lovely place. Right then, where's this come from?
Well, the petition was set up by somebody in March this year and didn't really get any traction until there was a motion to Cornwall Council from Mebyon, Kernow and other parties to say, hang on a minute, Cornwall keeps getting forgotten about and ignored, treated as just another English county, and we know we aren't that. We know we aren't that. We need people across Britain to recognise that. And actually, since the motion was passed at Cornwall Council, the petition has gained a huge amount of traction in the last couple of months, and it's now over 23,000 signatures. And we would love for your listeners in Wales to all sign up as well. See if you can bring up the percentage in Wales a bit, because at the moment the map looks like most people are voting from Cornwall, but not from other places.
Can I just go back to Mebyon Kernow? What do you want as an organisation, as an establishment?
Well, the petition is not political, but Mebyon Kernow and Cornwall Council have voted on this motion, which is about recognising Cornwall and giving us more powers. The issue at the moment is within the current government, the powers that are on offer are only to local authorities who combine into a mayoral combined authority. There's no opportunity to gain additional powers for Cornwall. And what we're saying is we need a bespoke solution for Cornwall that works for Cornwall. Ultimately, from a Mebyon Kernow perspective, we'd like to see a Senedd similar to it in Wales with financial tax-raising powers and ideally some legislative powers as well.
And what's the kind of general consensus? Is that what people want in Cornwall? Is it growing?
People want more powers in Cornwall. The actual governance and the actual type of powers is up for discussion, and obviously that's something that for the people of Cornwall to decide. But at the moment, we're just asking to be at that table. We're asking to be recognised as one of the Fifth Nations of Britain, because we are not an English county, we are not English, and we need to have our own solutions.
I'll be very careful with my language here, Loveday, because obviously what's happening across the United Kingdom, there is a rise in the number of flags being flown due to other situations and news stories that I'm sure you're aware of, online, radio and television. So in terms of, let's be frank, a rise in Englishness and a demonstration of being English, is this a rise that you've seen in Cornwall in terms of raising the flag for Cornwall? Is it kind of opposing what's going on in other parts of England?
It's not the same sort of thing. I mean, as a Cornish person, I very much resent people feeling they want to fly a flag of England in Cornwall, or paint it on a roundabout or whatever. In fact, we've had young activists going out and painting over English flags when they've been painted on the roads. It's not about flag waving. It's about having genuine powers for Cornwall. Yes, we're all proud to be Cornish. Yes, Cornwall is an important part of the Isles of Britain. And as with Wales, one of the original areas that were, are still holding on to our Brythonic background and our identity and culture, which is the pre-English settlement. But if the English people in England want to raise flags and fly flags in their gardens, good luck to them, but don't do it in our nation.
Can I just ask you about Cornish? Is it taught in schools?
There is a bit of Cornish taught in schools, but at the moment, and this is one of the reasons for the motion, we are constrained by the English national curriculum, and the English national curriculum doesn't recognise the indigenous languages of Britain. The only language that's available to be taught is modern foreign language, and we really feel that every child in Cornwall should have the opportunity to be able to learn some Cornish in school.
Because obviously we have Welsh-speaking schools here in Wales. So do you take inspiration from what we have here in Wales in terms of a Senedd, in terms of Welsh language schools, and in terms of what in inverted commas, fifth nation would look like in theory?
Yes, we do. We look to Wales and we are quite jealous of some of the powers and some of the devolved funding that you've got, and the way that you've got a Welsh national curriculum. You can decide to have Welsh language schools. You can look at bespoke solutions to health issues in rural areas. Your 300% tax on second homes in the coastal areas. That is all the sorts of things that we need in Cornwall, but because we don't have any devolved powers for those, we can't actually do them.
The times I've spent in Cornwall, when I've talked to Cornish people, I've spent quite a bit of time there, had a holiday there in 2021. There was a lot of talk about, yes, tourism is fantastic, but there are very similar issues in terms of tourism taxes, in terms of second homes, unemployment and economic development.
Yes, definitely. Tourism does bring in some money to Cornwall. Not a lot of it stays in Cornwall necessarily. I think it's been calculated it's about 11-12% of the GDP maybe comes from tourism, but it's not just about what it brings in, it's what it costs to the ordinary people living in Cornwall. And our infrastructure is suffering because we don't have additional funding to help deal with those additional pressures, either for things like roads, but also for the health service, but also for sheer weight of congestion on the roads, for instance. So we have a lot of issues that arise from being a tourist area. The housing market is a huge one. Young people, as in Wales, can't afford to buy houses in the places they grew up because they have become tourist areas and the house prices are not within reach. You look at somewhere like St Ives, and the majority of people who live in St Ives live up on the hill. They don't live in the town. It becomes a ghost town when there's no tourists there, and that's not what we want for the future of Cornwall.
What about new homes? Are there house developers who are creating new homes around the region?
Well, it's been calculated that if all the empty homes were available, we wouldn't have a housing crisis in Cornwall. But obviously we do need new homes, but the issue is, again, the government legislation is that in a lot of places, if a new housing development is built, only 25% of them are deemed affordable, and that's by the government criteria, which is 80% of market rate. And that's not affordable for most people in Cornwall because the wages are low in comparison to other parts of Britain.
Fantastic. Lovely to talk to you, Loveday. Thank you very much indeed. Loveday Jenkin, Deputy Leader of Mebyon Kernow, as well as Deputy Grand Bard of the Cornish Gorsedd. Look at the links between Cornwall and Wales. How interesting. Lines are open. Give us a ring, 03700 100.